Hello and welcome back. So last time on our little create episode, we automated a bunch of the crops over here. So we have plenty of crops and produce and food items and ingredients coming in now, which they all run right under here and into our vault, which I did enlarge a little bit. I also outlined where we're going to put our little silo storage style building. But that is just the tip of the iceberg today, as I have plans to automate most of our crafting for food items. I did some work in a creative environment, figuring out if it was possible, and it is, for the most part. It's going to be a little painful, but we'll get through it. And it's going to be fun. I know I had fun doing it in creative, so hopefully it's the same here. I will try to explain as much of the process as I can, and if there is anything that you have questions about, drop it in the comments down below, because I would be more than happy to try to help answer or direct you to an answer that can help you with your own create world and contraptions and machines. So let's go ahead and figure out where we're going to have our processing facility over here. So with our silo going to be right here, we're going to probably, right off of it, have our processing facility in this area. And then we're also going to more than likely move the animals over to this area too. Just because I have plans to automate things such as milking, shearing, and a few other things. Um, so yeah, so the biggest thing that we need to do first is to figure out where we're going to take the items out of over here and bring them across. Now, as much as I want to get the building up first, I have a feeling that the building will be too small in the end, and it's better for us to get the machines in first. So let's go ahead and start putting some pieces down. For this, you're definitely going to need packagers, stock links, and a stock ticker, along with either a seat with a mob on it or a blaze burner. We are going to go right over here and put our stock ticker for this part as close to the center point as we can here, which that would be the center, so we'll go right about here. So what this will allow us to do is to have our network for our stock ticker to see what we have for ingredients, what we have for finished product in the end, and it will also allow us to address the packages to the different stations. So I'm gonna get a mainline belt in, and then I'll bring you guys back after I get a few of those in, and then I'll explain it. See you in a moment. Welcome back. So I got the belts and everything in place. Took a lot of the boring stuff out of the equation for you guys. But if you do have any questions on this, feel free to drop it down in the comments down below. I'm going to go through each part with you real quick. And then we're going to set up the last station that we need, which is the cutting board area. So we have our ingredient supply vault linked with a packager with a stock ticker that goes up onto our mainline belt. Then each workstation is going to have a funnel with a package address placed on it, so that way there package filter that we'll have in place will only be for that station, so we won't have to worry about stuff for our mixer going into the stock pot. But essentially, packages will come up as complete recipes, go in, and come out and drop their ingredients down below. So with this, we have several workstations set up. So we'll get the cutting board one in place in a little bit, but we did create an oven which will feed items back into the main vault for the ingredients, along with the ingredient mixer, which is hidden right in here. With that ingredient mixer, anything that is ingredient based, such as like wheat dough, anything that has to be mixed will come back and go into the ingredient vault in the end. Then we have our product mixer, which is essentially shapeless crafting. So we can take the ingredients, put them in through this mixer, and the finished product will end up over here in our food pickup vault. Then we have our stock pot and our fry pan, both of which can be fed ingredients and dropped in and export out. The stock pot, just like the oven, is going to have its own separate area where we'll stock it with wood bowls, and the oven will stock with coal or another flammable item. Then we got the fry pan, which the items will come through into the deployer and then get deployed into the fry pan. And essentially, the time that it takes it to come back down, the other item's going to pop off to the right and be finished cooking. So again, the fry pan is going to be more for finished product though. And then we just have our own little stock ticker set up right here for the moment. Once we build the building, we'll incorporate this somehow. But anything that we need, so for example, if we needed steak, as long as it's in this part of the vault system, it will come out. And for right now, it'll just come out as packages, but we'll adjust that to come out on something else. But anyways, the cutting board. This is a little bit of a complex, but not complex at the same time, because of the items we're gonna need. So first, I did not make the cutting board. Hold on 1 second. I got the ingredients I needed to make the cutting board, but forgot to make it. So essentially, our cutting board's gonna go right there. And then above it, by 2 blocks, so we'll crouch and click to place a temporary block, and then we'll go up above, and we should be able to, I think we have one, yep, we have another deployer, because we will need a deployer for this. And we'll just go ahead and rotate that so it's facing down. And even though the filter doesn't matter, we want the power to be lined up anyways. So that's going to hold the knife 90% of the time. The one thing with this though is it is going to place the knife on the cutting board. So you'll just have to check it from time to time if you use this design. Then we are going to use a dropper in the back to drop the ingredients that we're gonna cut. And then I did some testing in a creative world with this setup, and every time the items drop to the right, just like with the fry pan. So we're gonna go ahead and put in a bell right here to the right, nothing too big, just nice and simple. And then right behind here, which I don't think, do I have any other blocks I can use? I don't. Let's go see what we have over here for blocks. Because we just need even if it's just a temporary block. Use a little acacia. And I am going through this bread like no tomorrow. So on the back of this, we are going to put this item. This is a pulse timer. Essentially, it will send out a redstone pulse based off of what time interval you set. So you can have it rapid fire or be really slow. You can set it for ticks, seconds, or even minutes. When we hook this up right here to this, we're going to set it for 15 seconds, but we're going to do that after we get the rest of the infrastructure in for the dropper. So we'll need a chute. And is that all in line? Yes, okay. So we'll need a couple more chutes, which I don't have any plates. So let's head over to the warehouse real quick. And we'll grab some. And I can't wait till we can get a train running to and from here. We're getting really close to that too. Let's see. Here we go. So we're gonna go ahead and take 20 of those. And we'll take 20 of those. And we'll just make up a couple of these now. So that way there we have them already. And put those back. But now this workshop's actually working out really well. Actually utilizing a lot of the machines already in there. And soon we'll have plenty of food, so we won't have to worry. One other thing that I did is I did add, in case I didn't tell you guys, I did put a kelp farm in here too. Just because some of the recipes for Farmer's Delight requires kelp, but also we use dried kelp a lot for our belts. So having a way to automate it is going to be definitely worth it. So we'll go back up here. And send that out. Wrong item, there we go. So any packages that we send to the cutting board, the item will come out, drop down the chute, and go through the cutting process. along the back of these chutes, we will probably put either a trapdoor that's facing up or another block, just to prevent items from risking flowing off. But I don't think we're going to get to that point, at least not in this world. That is almost everything. Just got a few other items to put in here. And you know, we'll deal with that after we build the building. Pretty much, this is almost set to go except for the power, which we can take right from above. It shouldn't be too fast. But we also need, I think I did bring it over. Brought over one of the knives that I collected from one of our trips. So we'll plop that down. And to get us going, let's see what we have that we can use for our test. Go ahead and get some cabbage. And so right now that should now if I'd let it go, it would have just went right back into the system over on this side. And I'm gonna also have a package funnel possibly that is just labeled pickup. So anything that shouldn't be in the ingredient system, we can just send over. Let's go ahead and grab our cabbage. And then we'll go ahead and get our power hooked up. Which we'll need to make a couple more of those. You never realize how many products you need to just get to one stage in the end. That might be too fast. So what I might do is off of this deployer is just run some stuff. I don't want it to be so fast that it's gonna potentially break something, but we'll see if we can keep up with it. We'll go ahead and put our pulse on there and we'll set it to 15. And we'll just place one of these in for now. So in about 10 seconds or less, we should see the cabbage come out. There we go. And it cut it and it put it on the belt. So we'll just go ahead and get rid of the oven sign. And we'll just move that there. So I guess that's an okay speed. It's not really damaging the knife too much. So just picking it up and placing it down. And then we just need a gearbox here. And there we go. So that is everything pretty much set up for automation. And to kick us off, we're going to go ahead and send this cabbage down. And because the way this works, it's essentially like a hopper. So we shouldn't have to worry about a backup for the most part. And let's just watch some cabbage as it pops out. There we go. So now the final part we have to set up, which we're going to do together, is we're going to set up the filters. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different package filters. So if we go into our item management system off to the side here and type in filter. So we have our list filter, attribute filter, but the one that we need is the package filter. Because it will match packaged items by their targeted address. So to make one of these, it's just zinc and wool. So we're going to head back to our workshop and get those made up. And I believe we can use any type of wool, but let's just make sure we can. Okay. So we'll go ahead and because we're probably going to use this later on. We're going to grab 15, which means we need 30 zinc nuggets, which we don't really have the nuggets in storage, but that should give us plenty. So first we'll break that down to the nuggets. Yeah, that gave us more than enough. And what we'll do is we'll send the zinc nuggets back to storage along with 7 of those filters. Something else I did also is I tied in to our main power grid over here. So I ran it down below and underneath. So the power runs along this line of belts to power our food production facility. Now we also need, hopefully, I forgot about it. Let's see, what do we need for a clipboard? Andesite, paper, and planks. I think the only thing I don't have is the paper. Yeah. Okay. I'll bring you back in a second. So the clipboard is going to be very important for this too, because it's how we're going to be able to also communicate a list of our different package addresses to our stock keeper. So keeping in mind what we're going to name each station is going to be important. And to name them for package addresses, you use the pound sign or hashtag. And we'll go, nope. Oven. And if you notice, that changed to be a package-like symbol. We're going to close that a second just to make sure. Because we want to make sure that whatever we put on here is what we're going to want also. So I like to try to keep it at least until we get the building up. Because I'm going to leave these signs up for now. So we got oven. Cutting board. We're just going to call this one Mixer 1. And then we'll call that Product Mixer. And then we have the stock pot. And the fry pan. So that should be all of it. So now, if we place this down right there, it has all of our destinations. So if we want to say send some more cabbage, we can pick to send it to the cutting board. But we can't send it yet. So now we're going to grab our package filters and clear some space. Let's put some of this stuff back where it belongs. Okay, and if you notice, because we're nearby our clipboard, it already has these presets, so we can do one for the oven, which we might have to redo it. Yeah, these are all oven. Simple mistake. So the first one is the oven. Second one, we'll delete and go cutting board. We'll delete and go Mixer 1. Product. Stock pot. And our frying pan. So let's go ahead and get these put up there. So that is our cutting board, so that's our second one. And we can flip these around now. That is the oven, which should be the first one. And that's our mixer, which should be the next one. Maybe I can. Where's my dirt? There we go. So this should be product stuff. So these should be all in order. And if not, we will definitely find out. Okay, so those are all set. So now just to make sure that we have our outputs also set up, which I love the fact that the basins have their own. And also, if you do set up one of the furnaces to do an oven setup, product will only import from the top and come out the bottom with Create, and coal or your fuel will only go in from the left side for the most part using a hopper. I went through a few different ways of setting that up, and that's the only way that I really could make it work, at least for my setup. Let's go ahead and get this started. We can't do too much, but what we can do is we can go over here to the EMI interface, and let's go ahead and search at farmers, and then we can go down to the items, and based off of what we have so far, we're gonna go ahead and make some vegetable soup. So it'll require all of these items, and we'll have to supply the bowls. So we'll fill the recipe, and then we can multiply it out. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll make 20. And then we'll send it over to the stock pot. And we will go into FreeCam real quick. There it goes. Package should be picked up. And everything is funneling in for the vegetable soup. So after all the potatoes come in, the next ingredient and so on should come in. Oh. I do see an issue though. So it is sending out cabbage rolls. Which are delicious. So I guess the way you have the items set up on the thing coming out, you might want to look at it, because otherwise you'll end up with cabbage rolls like I did. But let's go ahead and make some bowls real quick. And we'll go ahead and move these. Not sure if I had a use for those, but I do now. Go ahead and drop the 56 bowls in, and as you can see, the bowls are going in, and the vegetable stew or soup is coming out. So we did a great deal today. So not only do we have to go over here real quick and go ahead and flip these all on. And we are going to lose a little bit of the sugar cane, but you know what? With the amount that it regrows, I'm not too worried. We should start seeing stuff come up the belt, which I need to drop a torch down there. So we'll turn that one off. And when this one comes back, let's see if it's emptied out. Almost, but we can turn that off for now because I know we have plenty of inventory. So yeah, today we covered a great deal on automating Farmer's Delight. Now while this isn't everything you can do with automating Farmer's Delight, this is all I'm gonna do for the most part. Because food-wise, I'm probably not gonna make every single recipe, at least not right away. And there's just so much more we're gonna do with this area that I don't want to spend too much time focused on putting in a bunch more machinery when we gotta do some building around some of the machines that we just put in. So that's where we're gonna end this video today. Thank you again for those of you that stay and watch through the whole videos. Feel free to give it a like and a subscribe down below. It really does help. And I will see you guys next time. And hopefully we'll have a building up around our food production facility. And maybe even have some animals moved over so we can start processing them to add to this facility. But again, thanks for watching, and I guess this is where we'll say goodbye till next time. Now, where did I put my bread?